Okay, so in the last class we did about failover clustering theoretical theory. Okay, I hope you're able to understand the theory part, right? So now today we'll talk about the practical part. Okay, so I open the paint first, and I'll showing you what the diagram or what the topology we will go for that. So I already told you that we need three servers. Okay, so this is we have three servers. So one is my DC. I make my DC as a SAN server. Okay, and with DC I connect these two servers as well. These two are the member servers. So what we need one DC. Okay, or you can create SAN server on a member server too also. Okay, it doesn't need that you need DC to create SAN servers or create or go for clustering. Okay, if we talk about the Microsoft, you can say that if we talk about the official notes of Microsoft, so they tell us that don't include your DC in the clustering. Okay, so we're not including DCs in the clusterings. Okay, we do everything on the member servers as well, but we don't have that much member servers, so I'm not including my DC in the clustering. I just make my DC as a SAN server. Okay, like with the help of SAN server we can provide the LUNs to the member servers. Okay, so I have a DC. Okay, if you don't want to use DC, so you need three member servers in that case. One member server is becoming a SAN server, and two is a part of your class, is entering and participate the failover clustering. Okay, so now we have a DC. So this DC is becoming a SAN server now. Okay, I attached one storage with this DC. Okay, so right now I don't have a physical storage, so one virtual storage I attach to my DC. So in our live organizations, we have a physical storage rack, as I already told you. Okay, so we have a physical storage, that this is the rack, as you can see that storage rack we have, and this rack attached with the SAN server directly with fiber optic cables and channels. Okay, and this is what we have. This is my member server one, member one, mem one. You can know member server one, and this is known as member server two. Okay, and these servers are working as a file server. So I make my I do I enable failover clustering on file servers. I'm using the file services. Okay, so which services I'm using? I'm using the file services. I'm enable failover clustering, or you can say that high availability on file servers. Okay, so we have two file servers. I create two file servers, file server 1 and file server 2. And after that, after creating these file servers, what I do, I install failover clustering feature. Okay, on both the servers. Okay, and with the help of SAN server, I can provide some storage, like like I provide 5 GB LUNs. Okay, 5 GB for quorum and 5 GB for storage. Okay, same in my member 2 also, 5 GB storage and 5 GB for quorum. So we can provide LUNs also with the help of SAN server. So this is the what we have a physical topology we can use. Okay, fine. Now let's start the practical over there. So let me open my server. So this is my server. As you can see that we have three servers: server one, server two, and server three. So server one is my DC. Okay, domain controller. So I open the console of this DC. So this is my server one. Okay, I make this server as a SAN server, and we have other two servers. Server two. Server two is the member server. Okay, I make this server as file server and install failover clustering feature. And we have a server three as well. So this is server three. Okay, so let's start with the things. So this is my server one. So first start with the server one. Okay, so I just log in with the domain credentials on server one. okay, with abc.local administrator. So I give the password. Okay, so the DNS we already do, so just close this windows. I don't want any DNS. Okay, now what I need to do, over there, I need to first make this server as a SAN server. So before I make this server as a SAN server, I need to attach one storage. Okay, so right now these are my virtual storage. Okay, sorry, these are my virtual servers. So I need to attach the virtual storage as well. Okay, fine. So right now I don't have a physical storage, so I can use the virtual storage. So how I can attach the virtual storage? I just right click on that and I need to open there. Okay, not there. I need to open the settings of this. So I just minimize this one and I go to server one and click on edit settings. Over there, I can attach one hard disk. Okay, 20 GB hard disk. So I can attach one 20 GB hard disk with this server. So here is the hard disk. Okay, now I need to attach another one. Go for, I hope there. VM options, maybe over here. No, VM hardware. Okay, add hard disk. So click on add hard disk. Okay, add a new hard disk. So I need to add a new hard disk. Okay, I don't want that much size. I want only 15 GB, not more than that. Okay, and the maximum size is 12. Okay, and I go for this hard disk is there. Now I need a thin provision over there. I don't want to thick one. Okay, and let's click on save. So I attach one new hard disk. As you can see that my first hard disk is 40 GB and the second hard disk is 15 GB. I can attach and click on save. Okay, so in server one, I can successfully attached, as you can see that in the notes also, we attached one hard disk. So let's go for there. I'll go for server one over there again. Now let's check once. So how we can check this hard disk? I go to run and open disk management. So I'm able to see this hard disk and disk management first. Disk management and click on OK. Here is the disk management is there. Now disk one, as you can see, the 15 GB is there now. Okay. Now this, I just right click on that. First, I need to go to online. And then after that, we need to initialize this disk. I'm using NTDS. Okay. I'm go for MBR because it's less than 2 terabyte. Okay. So I'll go for MBR. If it is more than 2 terabytes, then we can go for GPT, partition table. Now I'll make one partition. Okay, click on next. I occupy full space 15 GB and make one. So this space is for this drive. I make for SAN. Okay, I click on back. I just write over there in the volume label. This is for SAN. Okay, SAN storage. This is for identification only. It doesn't mean that you want to write this like this. Okay, I just go for identification only. So the volume label is SAN storage, and click on next and click on finish. So as you can see that the drive is created, F drive is created. I just close this disk management and I open the file explorer. I open a file explorer now. So as you can see that we have F drive in this PC. Here it is. We have a F drive. Okay, for 15 GB F drive we have. Okay, I can use this 15 GB space to provide the LUNs. Okay, from SAN server. So now I have a storage now. Now I need to make this server as a SAN server. Okay, I hope both of you are able to understand till now, right? Clear till now, both of you, Sai Teja and Teja, right?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now I'll go to start now, and I'll make this this server as a SAN server. So what services I need for SAN server? I need iSCSI target server. Okay, so we have a services name iSCSI target server. I need to install that particular services. in this server, and this server automatically becoming a SAN server. Okay, so I'll go for add roles and features. Go for add roles and features over there, and simple. Click on next. Click on next again. Okay, click on next again. Now we have the option over there. If we, when you expand the file and storage services, expand it once. You can see that file and ISQL services are there. Expand again. Over there we have the option iSCSI target server. We need to install this to make this server as a SAN server. Okay, so I just check this option iSCSI target server and click on next. Click on next. Okay, restart, automatic enable. Click on install. So as you can see that it's installing iSCSI target server. Now after that, I'll showing you how we can create the LUNs, okay, to provide our member servers. Okay, so as you can see that the iSCSI target server is installed. Install succeeded on this server. Okay, click on close. Now where you configure this, so you have the option on the left side, file and storage services. Let's expand it. Let's click on this. We have the option iSCSI. Let's click on iSCSI. Okay, now with the help of this iSCSI, we can create the LUNs to the member servers. So let's click on go for this. So as I already told you, 5 GB for storage and 5 GB for you can say that we can go for 7 GB for storage and 5 GB for your quorum. Okay. Okay, so as if you it's up to your requirement, because I don't have that much data, so that's why I give 5 GB. Okay, if you have a large amount of data in your file server, so you can give that as per the requirement. Okay, so I'm using the F drive over there. 15 GB drive is there. Okay, next click on next now. Now first I create the first you can say that first LUN. Okay, first virtual disk with the help of 15 GB out of 15 GB. So this is disk one, as you can see that disk one. This is for you can say that storage. Okay, and click on next. Now you define the space out of 10 GB how much you want. Okay, so I go for like 8 GB for my storage. Okay, and I use dynamically expanding. Dynamic expanding means, if I using dynamic expanding means whenever I can use the space, that time it's detect the space. If I go for fixed size, what happens in that case, it doesn't matter whether I'm use the space or not, it's automatically detect the 8 GB. Okay, but I want that, okay, when I'm use the space slowly, then they start deducting the space on my storage. Okay, so we'll go, that's why we can go for dynamically expanding over there. Okay, now click on next, and now when you define the target, okay, where I want to provide this 8 GB. So uh, in the diagram, please try to understand that also, that I have only one age I have only I need to create two LUNs. Okay, 8 GB for shared storage, means for storage, and 5 GB for quorum. Okay, and I can provide 8 GB, the same 8 GB on both the servers. I'm not creating different 8 GB LUN for both the servers. No, I create only one line for 8 GB, and then 8 GB provide both the servers the same 8 GB. I'm not creating the separate 8 GB for every server. Okay, over there. So just we can go for we can go for new target. Okay, now click on next over there. Now they ask give me the target name, so I go for target one. I give the name target one. You can give any name over there. Okay, so let's click on next now. Now I need to add the IP address of the servers. Okay, simple click on add. Okay, and we have the options over there. If I click on enter a value, so over there with the help of DNS, we can map the space. Then we can provide the space with the help of IP address, with the help of MAC address too. So like if you don't know the IP address of your servers, you can use the MAC address as well. So right now we are using the IP address. Okay, so my server's IP address is what? One is, I think, I hope 10.100.0.0.3, and one is 4. Just check once. So how we can check once? Let's go for server 2 first, and let's check one the IP address. just log in. So I go for CMD. Okay, IP config. Sorry, IP config. Okay, 100.0.0.3. My server 2 IP address is 100.0.0.3. Okay, and we'll go for check the server 2 IP address as well. Sorry, server 3 IP address. My server 2 IP address is 100.0.0.3, and now I need to check the server 3 IP address as well. Okay, it's login. Let's check with CMD. IP config. My server 3 IP address is 100.0.0.4. Okay, so let's first add my server 2 IP address over there. So my server 2 is 100.0.0.3. Okay, let's click on OK. As you can see that the server 2 IP address is added. Now I need to add the server 3 IP address as well. Okay, so whatever IP addresses I added over there. Okay, so only these servers are able to access this storage, this 8 GB storage. Only these two servers, not anyone else access to these storages. Okay, if you have 5 servers, you need to add this storage. So you need to add all 5 IP addresses over there, all 5 servers IP addresses over there. Okay, so as you can say that we'll added both the servers IP addresses because I want that both the servers are able to access this 8 GB storage, and then click on next. Okay, now they ask you for authentication, like if you want that once if this server is going to access this storage. Okay, what this 8 GB storage, so they need to ask the username and password. So if you want to do this, you can define the username password over there. So whatever username password you define over there, they need to give that username password first once you access. Otherwise, those servers are not able to access this 8 GB storage. Okay, so I'm not using this authentication part right now. I just simply click on next. Okay, so these are the summary. So as you can see that I give 8 GB storage to my server 2 and server 3. Okay, access server is 100.0.0.3 and 4, means server 2 and server 3. Now click on create. Okay, so as you can see that my storage is created, my one LUN is created. Okay, click on close. So as you can see that the target one is created. Okay, like same how we can create a second target. Okay, just right click on that. We have the option new iSCSI virtual disk. Okay, and we'll go for F drive. Click on next. Yeah, like it's not about the simple PC. It talk about the servers only. Okay, so if you have a servers, you need to provide some storage to the servers. You need to give that server's IP address. Simple. Okay, like imagine if I have 10 servers. Okay, and we have one storage. Like imagine now you need to provide the IP address on server 5. Now server 5 IP address is 100.0.0.5. You need to create the LUN and provide the IP address. Simple. Understood? Okay, like this. Now I am going to get the disk 2. Now this is for quorum. I want this is for quorum. Okay, now disk 2 is created. Now click on next. Now I give 5 GB for quorum. Okay, now click on next. Now click on new SCSI target. Okay, now go for target 2. This previously the target 1. Okay, that target is for 8 GB. Now I can create a new target for 5 GB. Okay, now click on next, and now I need to provide the IP address of both the servers because I want to give this storage to both the servers, server 2 and server 3. So I go for IP address and go for 100.0.0.3. Okay, and click on add IP address and go for 100.0.0.4. This is the third server IP address. Click on OK. Now both the servers are added. Okay, now click on next, and simple click on create. So as you can say that it's created, the target is created. Now click on close. So as you can say that both the targets are created, but still servers are not accessed, still the servers are not connected. As you can see that not connected. Okay, so now how we can access the storage with the help of server 2 and server 3, I'll showing you. Let's minimize this server 1 first. Now go to server 2. Okay, now we have a server 2 right now. Okay, as you can see that right now I'm in server 2. Okay, so I just go to start, click on admin tools over there, and we have the option over there iSCSI initiator. With the help of iSCSI initiator we can access the LUNs. Okay, so just click on iSCSI initiator. So by default this service is off. Once I click on yes, this service is automatically running. Okay, as you can see that this told you, it told you the Microsoft iSCSI services is not running. Okay, press yes to start the services. So click on yes. Okay, so once the services starts, it's give you one wizard over there. As you can see that, see now iSCSI initiator properties are there. Okay, now over there I need to define my SAN server IP address. My SAN server IP address is, my SAN server is server 1. So the IP address of server 1 is 100.0.0.1, like this. Okay, and then we can go for quick connect. Click on quick connect. So they're showing me both the targets. As you can see that target 2 and target 1, both the targets are there now. Okay, so I want to connect both the targets one by one. First I connect target 1, connected, and I can go for target 2 now. Okay, and go for connected. Okay, so as you can say that my both the targets are connected, it means both the storage or both the spaces are connected, both the hard disk space are connected now. Now I need to go to disk management first, and I need to online my disk. It is a command to open the disk management. Now we have, you can see that we have two, disk 1 and disk 2. Okay, disk 1 8 GB, disk 2 5 GB. Now just online on both the disks, initialize. I'm using MBR. Okay, fine. Now same, disk 2 online, disk 2 initialize, click on MBR and click on OK. Okay, now both the disks are ready. Now I need to create the party the volumes. So click on new simple volumes, click on next, next, next. I go for, this is for SAN, so I'll go for, if you want to write it you can write it, it's up to you. Okay, the volume name, it's up to you. Okay, in my case I go for SAN 1, SAN 1. Okay, I call this SAN 1, and in this also I can create a partition, means the volume. This is for SAN 2. This volume is known as SAN 2. So we have two volumes for SAN. Means for one is for shared, one is for storage and one is for quorum, like this. Okay, so we are like this. So like if you see with the this PC, so as you can say that if you click on this PC, so as you can see that E and F drive is there. One is 8 GB and one is 5 GB. Okay, now same I can do in the server 3 as well. So I minimize this one. I'll go to the server 3. Here is, I'm in server 3 right now. I close this CMD. I go to disk management first. Sorry, before I go to disk management, first I need to connect. So how we can connect it? Go to start, administrative tools. Over there we have the option iSCSI initiator. Press yes to start the services. And then now they're asking you for your SAN stuff server IP address. You need to define the SAN server IP address over there. Okay, and click on quick connect. So as you can see that they're showing me both the targets. So I connect target 1, and then after that I connect target 2 and click on done. Okay, click on OK. Now I'll go for disk management again and to online the hard disk only. Disk management. Now over there you can find both the hard disks, disk 1 and disk 2. Just click on online and just click on online. Now over there what happens when I click on online, it automatically shows me the volumes. Why? Because this is the same hard disk which I access in server 1, server 2 as well. Okay, that's why we don't want to create a volume over there again and again. Okay, because it's the same hard disk we are accessing on both the servers. Okay, but that's why. So you can say that both the hard disks are connected with on both the servers. Okay, now what I need to do now I create this servers as a file servers. So how we can create the file servers on this server 2 and server 3? So this is the way. Understand first, this is the way how we can create the SAN network. So SAN network is created successfully. Now in server 2 and server 3, I need to install file services. Okay, because I want to create this server as a file server. So I'll go to first server 2 first. So I'm in server 2 right now. As you can see, I'm in server 2. I'm in server 2. Okay. So now I will go to start server manager. We'll remove something previously. That's why they're showing me the removal results. Simple click on close. Now go to add roles and features. Now click on next. Click on next again. Click on next. In roles, we have the option file and storage services. Expanded. We have the option file and iSQL services. Expanded. We have the option file server, as you can see that. Okay, so we need to check this option. We need to check the file server. So this server is becoming a file server now. Okay, file server. What is the file server? File server is used to maintain your share files and folders. Okay, so now we have a file server one. You can call this is the file server. Click on next. Click on next. Okay, I just enable automatic restarts. Click on yes and click on install. Okay, I'll do the same thing in my server 3 as well. So I minimize this one. I go to server 3 and I'll open my same server manager. Click on close first and I go to add roles and features. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Now same thing, file and storage services, file and iSQL services. Over there we have the option file server. Let's check this option. Click on next. Click on next. Restart, enable automatic yes and install. Okay, one thing I also tell you, I told you that once you if imagine that if you share your file, you share your folder in your server. Okay, so in that time file server is automatically installed. Okay, imagine, remember this things also. If sometimes it is showing you the file server is automatically installed, why? Because you sharing a file. Once you sharing a file, your file services is automatically installed. You don't want to install manually. But yes, if you're not sharing the file till now, you need to install the file. If you want to install the file server, so you need to install the file server services manually as well. Okay, so if you share the file previously, so you don't want to install file server manually, it's automatically installed. So as you can say that in server 3, file services is installed. Okay, close it now. Go to minimize this one. Check in the server 2 as well. Yes, in server 2 also file server is installed. Okay, now what left? We need to go for that. So now these two servers is a file server, as you can say that. Now we need to install the failover clustering services on both the servers. Okay, so let's go for install failover clustering. So right now I'm in server 2, as you can see that I'm in server 2. Okay, now failover clustering is not a service, it's a feature, it's not a role. So I need to go to add roles and features again. Okay, now click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Right now I'm in roles. I want to skip the roles. I need to go to in features. Now in features, as you can see that we have failover clustering. See, here is the failover clustering. And then in the same feature, you found NLB, network load balancing. So you need to first remove, if you configure network load balancing. Okay, so you're not able to install failover feature. Means on the same server, you're not able to install both the clustering at same time, both the clustering services at same time. Okay, so if you want to add this server in a failover clustering, so first you need to uninstall the NLB clustering feature. Okay, so I already uninstalled the NLB clustering feature. Okay, now I'm going to install failover clustering. So click on failover clustering and click on add feature. Click on next, enable automatic restart. Click on yes, click on install. Same thing do in server 3 as well. So I minimize this one. I go to server 3 and go for add roles and features. Okay, now click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Okay, now I'll go for roles. I need to skip those roles. I go to failover clustering features. We have a failover clustering feature is there. Click on add features. Click on next. Enable automatic restarts and click on install. like this. Understand both of you, Saitesh and Teja, till now? What I did till now? Okay. Okay. Great. So let's check for server 2 whether it's installed or not. So I minimize this one. I go to server 2. And as you can see that it's automatically restarted. It means this, the failover clustering is installed in server 2. Let's check in server 3 as well. Yeah. In server 3 also it's automatically restarting. So it means that failover clustering is installed. Okay. So let's log on in the server 2 first. Add a server 2. Login. Login with administrator, domain administrator. Okay. Same do in server 3 as well. Login with domain administrator. Now go to server 2. Now you can configure failover clustering in any server, whether you can configure on server 2 or whether you can configure on server 3. Okay, I don't want to configure failover clustering on all the servers. No, only one server. I can, like, if imagine if I have 10 servers, start with server 2 to server 10. Okay, so if I configure a failover clustering on server 2, so it automatically sends the update to all the servers. I don't want to configure failover clustering on all the servers. Okay, only one server I can configure. All the servers are automatically configured. Okay, so right now I'm in server 2. So now I'm going to configure failover clustering on on file services. Okay, so now before I start the failover clustering, I'm just showing you one thing. Let's see, click on start, go to admin tools over there, and we have the option failover clustering manager. With the help of this console, we able to manage failover clustering. A simple click on this. Okay, so as you can say that they told me that we can manage failover clusters with Windows Admin Center 2 also. So we already discussed about Windows Admin Center as a new feature in Server 2019. Okay, so right now I don't have Windows Admin Center, so I just close this. Okay, so now we able to manage failover clustering manager with the failover clustering manager now. Okay, now this is the failover clustering manager is open. Now there is no cluster right now in NLB. How we can create the cluster? The same we need to create the clusters in failover also. But before we create the cluster, we need to check whether this server is capable to whether this server is capable to create the cluster or not. Okay, so we have the option over there is validate configuration. Validate configuration means it runs some test. Okay, this server runs some test. Oh, sorry, this failover clustering services run some test. It checks whether this server or whether your network is capable to create the failover cluster or not. Okay, your network, it checks everything: servers, configurations, network, everything. Okay, so let's start with the validate configuration first. It's mandatory. If you not configure the validate configuration, so you're not able to create the clusters. Okay, so Microsoft recommends you that first validate your servers, check your servers whether your server is able to whether the server is eligible to create the failover cluster or not. Okay, just go for validate configuration. Now, as you can say that before you begin, okay, it's validate your, it runs some test, as you can say that. Okay, now click on next. Now I need to enter my server where I want to create the cluster. So my server is server 2. So I go to browse, click on browse. I need to go to advanced and find now. Okay, over there they're showing me all the servers name. So I just check first my server 2 name. I go for cmd, and host name. The command is used to check the name is host name. So it's OOP7. Okay, We'll go for check 00p7 something. Yeah, this is the server 2. This is my server 2. Okay. Now I add my server 2 in this. As you can see that it's verifying server settings. There are one server left to verify. So it's verifying my server. Okay. After once it's added, then it runs the test. Okay. So as you can see that my server is successfully added. Okay. Now click on next. Now they ask you for run all the test recommended. Okay, so it checks everything. It checks your storage, check your network, check the clustering services, everything. It's check. You're going to check. Okay. So now click on next. Yes, I want to select. Say these are the tests. It's running. iSCSI. Okay, services. So many things are there. Okay, storage inventory. It makes inventory proper inventory for you. Okay. Now just click on next. Okay. Now as you can see that it start running the test. See, it runs the test as you can see that. If you found any error in any test, so it means that this server is not able on this server you're not able to create clusters. Okay, so we need to first rectify the error. Okay, warning is okay. It doesn't. It's not important, but yes, we need to rectify the error. Okay. Now, as you can see that we get one warning in the network part. As you can see that. Okay. So like see, if I click on view report over there, just click on do not use this, click on ask me later. Okay, now you can see that we have the warnings in network part. So why it's showing me warning? Because I already told you that warning in IP configuration. Just click on IP configuration over there. So where we can find out the warning. See, they told me that we have only one adapter. Okay, so as you can see that we have one adapter. They're showing me only we have only one adapter. Okay, that's why they're showing me the warning, because I already told you that Microsoft recommends you that we need at least two LAN cards, means two networks. One is separate for clustering and one is for our internal network. So right now I have only one network. That's why they're showing me the warning only. But it's okay. We will do the clustering in one network as well. Okay, as a simple close. This is the only warning we'll see. Will see. Okay. Now simple to go to finish. Okay, so as you can say that now I'm going to create the cluster. Now I'm able to create the cluster. We have only one warning, it's okay. So now go to create a cluster. Now just simple click on next. Now where you want to create the cluster, you need to add the server over there also. Go to browse, advanced, find now. So they're showing me my servers, my all the systems we have. So this is the server 2. I need to add, click on OK. Okay, now click on next. Now I'm going to define my cluster name. So this is the cluster name. So I go for this cluster 1. Okay, now I define the cluster IP address over there. So I give IP address like I'll give over there 100.0.0.100. Okay, I will start with the 200. 100.0.0.200. My cluster IP address is 200. Okay, it's a unique address. We'll go for unique IP to the clusters. Click on next. Okay, now they're showing you my cluster name is this. Node where I create the cluster is this. Means the server. Node means server. Okay. IP address of the cluster is this. Now click on next. Now it's creating the cluster, as you can see that. Beginning to configure the cluster. Okay, so as you can see that the cluster is completed, created. As you can see that, click on finish. So now you can see that. See, here is the cluster one is there. See, you can see that cluster one is there. Cluster one dot abc dot local. Let's expand it. Okay, so we have a cluster one is there. Now we have the options, roles, nodes. Okay, so as you can see, if I click on nodes, so my server two is added in this cluster. Okay, now I'll go for storage. They're showing me the storage as well, disks. Okay, so we have right now, we don't have disk right now because I'm not adding my server second server also. Okay, so before I add the first I add the server 2 also. So I click on nodes, I click on that, click on add node. Okay, click on next, go to browse, advanced. Now find now. Okay, now this is my server 3. I added. Just check once the IP address, the server 3 name. I'm in server 3 right now. Just check once. Just wait. Just check once the name of the server 3. Okay, its last was LCV. Okay, so I'll go to minimize this and go to server 2, and my server name is LVC LCV. This is the server 3 I have. Click on OK. Click on OK. Now it's checking whether you installed failover clustering on the servers or not. If you not installed failover clustering feature on server 3, so it's not added in the cluster. Remember these things also. So it's mandatory. You need to install server 3, and every server who is participating in the cluster, you need to install failover clustering services on every server. Now click on next. Now they're asking you if you want to run the test or not. Okay, so if you think that in server 3 I have the server 3 is compatible, it doesn't have any issues, so just simple click on no. If you want to run the test on server 3 as well, so just click on yes over there. It's not mandatory, but yes, if you want to check your server 3 as well, so then you can click on yes. I don't want to check my server 3. I know that the server 3 is okay. Now click on next and click on next again. So it's adding, you can say that, see, it's adding the server in the cluster. Now, so as you can see that the server 3 is added also. Okay. Now click on finish. Now, as you can see that both the servers are added in this clusters. And now still we not defined that now we need to define the service on which this cluster working. Basically, this cluster provide the high availability. So we not defined anything on this on the services. Okay, so first I check the storage. I hope now the storage is there. As you can see both the storages are there, disk 2 and disk 1. Okay, now I go to the nodes are also there. Now I go to the roles. Now on the with the help of roles, I need to define on which services I need to this cluster provides the high availability. Okay, so now just right click on that. You have the option configure role. Click on configure role over there. Now click on next. Okay, now over there, we using file services. We provide. I want that this cluster provide the high availability on file services because this practical will run on file servers. We have a file service. Okay, so using the file server over there. As you can see that we have so many services are there. We can provide the failover clustering. Okay, we can enable the failover clustering on those services. Okay, DFS, DFS, DHCP, DFS. Okay, Hyper-V, all those servers too. So now click on next. Now I need file server for journal use only, or we go for scale out file server, or application data. Okay, so if I use this scale out one, so it means that it gives me we use on DFS, NFS, SMB, all this on failover clustering. Okay, but right now I want only the file server. I don't want any DFS and everything, so I just simple go for file server for general use. Okay, now I simple click on next over there, and now they ask me the client access point. Now this is the client access point is another, you can say that it is known as a client access point, is known as the point where we can define this the services. Okay, so now we create another a cluster for this role. Okay, so now we have two clusters. One is the main one. Okay, and the second one we have a cache client access point, as you can say that. So this is known as a client access point for, or you can say that we can go for file server. I give the name, this access point is file server. File server 01. This is for file server, you can say that. Okay. So now I want that when I access the files, okay, the client, so it's go for 201. Okay. So my cluster IP address is 200, and the client access point IP address is 201, where my client request comes, and then he divides the request to the servers. Okay. Now click on next. Now client access point is used to manage the client request, as you can see that. Okay, now they ask you for storage. Now which hard disk you want for storage. Okay, so I want 8 GB hard disk for storage, so I check this 8 GB hard disk for storage. Okay, second hard disk automatically go for quorum. Now click on next. Understand both of you, Sai, Teja and Teja, till now, right? Okay, now we need to define this. Okay, great. So this is client access point IP address, and this is this cluster disk one for storage. Okay, click on next. Okay, so now it's configuring, as you can see that high availability. So now it's configuring the high availability on this file server feature. Now click on finish. So as you can say that right now this file server. Now who is the owner right now? Owner is my server 2, as you can say that. Okay. Now what I do, I make one share a share folder. Okay, so just right click on that. We have the option add file shares. We already create file shares. Remember, in the storage. Okay, I just click on add file share once. I want to create a file share. As you can see that, I'm going to add one file share. One create a file share through this clustering. Okay, so let's create one file share. Okay, and let me check whether we able to access that file share or not. So I'm going to create a file share. Okay, so right now I'm using the SMB protocol, SMB services. Now click on next. Okay, I make this file share in my storage E drive, as you can say that. Okay, now this is the storage, 8 GB storage. I'm add save this, and I'll go for this for data. Okay, so my file share name is data. Okay, now click on next. Okay, simple click on next, click on next, and simple create. So I created the file share, as you can see that. Okay, now as you can see that my who providing this file share right now, the owner of this cluster is server 2. Okay, so now let's check once. First check, I go to the server 1. Now let access my file share. Okay, now we'll access. I just close this one. Now you can access, you can test with the client as well. Right now we don't have a client, so we'll access with this server. So I go for this. I'll go for over there is cluster name, cluster 1. Okay, then slash, then data. Okay, let's go for my cluster IP addresses 100.0.0.100, sorry, 200, and enter it. Okay, 201. I'm sorry. My file server cluster IP address is 201. So we'll go for 201. I enter it. So as you can see that I am access the data folder, and if you see that I'm able to create the folder also, I'm able to create the file also. Okay, now right now as you can see that the owner of this cluster is, see, the owner of this cluster is server 2. Okay, now what I do, I shut down the server 2 now. Like, see, I go to start and power off this server 2. Okay, I will go for there. I'll go for server 2 and power off the server 2. Are you sure want to power off the server 2? Yes. So as you can see that the server 2 is power off. Now if I'll see this, see there, so I'm not able to access anything on the server 2 because it's off. Okay, see, the server 2 is power off. Now I'll go to the server 3 first once and check who is the owner now. Now before I check the owner, first I need to check whether I'm able to access my that folders or not. See, if I close this one and if I trying to again access the cluster 201, and you can see that still I'm able to access the data. See, I'm able to still access the data. How? Because like you can see that now who is the owner? If I go to server 3 and I open the failover cluster manager, and we'll check it once with server 3. Now you can see that if I expand it and if I check the nodes, so as you can see that my server 2 is down. They're showing me my server 2 is down, is not working, and server 1 is there now. Now click on server 3 is there. Now click on roles. Over there we can see that, see, now who is the owner now? Now server 3 is automatically the owner of this file server, this file server cluster. Understood? That's what we have. Like, what happens? My server 2 is an active member, and my server 3 is a standby member. So once my active member is down, server 3, which is in standby mode, automatically becomes active and provide the same resources. That's what failover clustering do. Okay, so as you can see that still I'm able to access that data. See, in server 2, so server 1, if I access it, but still I'm able to access. Why? Because in that case now server 3 is provided the same thing. As you can see that, see, I'm able to access this data. So that's what we have a clustering. So in clustering, what happens if your active server is down? Okay, so your standby server is automatically up and become active member of the cluster, and we provide the same resources. Okay, that's what we have a clustering.